currently the tight end 3 in ADP, and we talked about Jatavian Sanders struggling at the combine. There is absolutely no way this guy struggled at the combine. Theo Johnson, he is out of Penn State, so you know he's going to be super athletic. 6'6", 259 pounds. Lack of production, but super twitched up athlete. As I said, you know, Penn State loves those hyper athletic players, and he's another one off that production line. Are you buying into the kind of the athleticism, the traits, or are you dinging him for those, I guess, production struggles and lack of usage?
Yes, this is historically where I'd get excited about a really super athletic tight end that just smashes the combine, has the number 2 overall RAS score since 1987, just absolutely crushed it. Only one behind the famous Jelani Woods perfect 10, but then you dig into that combine, and he's the only tight end in the modern era to weigh over 255 pounds, run a sub 4.6 40 and post a vert of over 39 inches. So it's super impressive, and you have to open your eyes to it. He's not someone that was really on my radar until that combine, which probably because it was the lack of production. And for me, he's probably, I think he's probably the next Zach Kuntz that was talked about being super. Didn't he go to your Jets?
He did. He sat on. I think he sat on the 90-man practice squad. But yeah.
But yeah, it's just one stat that jumped out to me when digging into Theo Johnson, and it just didn't make sense. The fact he's only had 7 missed tackles in 4. He's only 7 missed tackles in 4 years of college, which at his size, he should be dominating the smaller guys, and he's just not doing it, which throws concerns at me. But then you look at what he's actually good at for a guy of his size, 6'6". He's actually pretty twitchy, and he's good against press coverage. So many times I saw him sort of run 5 yards up the field, sink his hips in the ground, run across the field, and just be effective at doing that. Them in breakers he was really good at. He was able to separate against linebackers fairly easily, even safeties. And then he was a really decent red zone weapon. So perhaps better than Brock Bowers. Gets knocked down for not being the best red zone weapon. But Theo Johnson, with his athleticism, was able to get up and snag plenty of balls. 7 touchdowns on just 34 receptions shows that perhaps that's what he's going to be sort of aimed at in the NFL. I think clearly NFL teams are going to like his combine. I think he does okay at blocking. I think he's absolutely fine with that. He was lined up all over the place in college as well. So there's plenty to like about Theo Johnson. Penn State, I mean, there's plenty of prospects recently that have come out. Last year, we even mentioned him earlier. Brenton Strange being cast up into the second rounder, then did very little. Pat Frymuth recently, Mike Gesicki. There's a whole line of recent tight ends to come out of Penn State. They're really good tight end college. So I think ultimately I'm going to pass. I think there's a lot more upside in other positions. But I mean, if he falls to the back of the 4th, 5th, I've seen him go a little bit higher than that just because I think perhaps the combine has got him on people's radars. But I think ultimately I'm going to stop getting too excited about these jumped up super athletic tight ends, and I'm probably going to pass and let someone else roster him and slowly drop him after a couple of years. But I could be well wrong about Theo Johnson.
Yeah, I think it's tough, isn't it? Because there's no position in the NFL, for fantasy, that athleticism correlates better to success than tight end. But I think people almost go, okay, athletic equals production, and you know we need athlete with some sort of skill equal production. My concern with him is that, you know, as you said, he's an elite athlete. I think he's a really good technical blocker. I think he's lacks willing sometimes, but I think technique is impressive. And I worry that he is going to be used as that at the next level. And I don't know if he is. It's weird because he's got this incredible blocking technique and seems to understand the nuances of the blocking game. But when it comes to running routes and receiving game, he seems completely naive and clueless, which doesn't sort of make work. He's appalling versus zone. He doesn't understand soft spots sitting in. He doesn't have the natural kind of leverage ability to create separation. Like, he's a better athlete than anyone he's going up against, and yet he's struggling to get open, and I just can't get my head around it. So yeah, he could easily be one of these later, mid to late round tight ends that blows up, and everybody will say, well, he was an athlete, we should have been drafting him. But like you, I'm happy to opt out. I think I'm going to lean towards production. He's my tight end 5 in this class. I think, you look at the numbers: 25th percentile receiving yards per team pass attempt, 30th percentile yards per route run. It's just, there's not enough there outside of the athleticism for me to get excited about drafting him. As I've seen some people taking him as the tight end 2 over Jatavian Sanders. I think for me, that's too rich. As you said, if you can get him in the 4th round, maybe, but I'd be shocked if he falls that far, just purely because I think the athleticism is going to come with hype and people will be drafting him too early. So yeah, I'm happy to leave and agree with you and basically opt out of Theo Johnson unless he falls massively in rookie drafts. We are ever so close to 1,800 subscribers. If you are watching this and you've not hit that subscribe button, do us a favor. We've got rookie profiles dropping daily, and we have got best ball season just around the corner, so you're not going to want to miss any of that.